Hello everybody, welcome to Skish, and today we're going over Frieren Beyond Journey's End Season 2, Episode number 2. So let's get right into it. So the episode starts off with our favorite trio again finding themselves on a miscellaneous adventure. Here, they're in the South. They come across a statue of the hero of the South. Now we all know Himmel was the guy who defeated Demon Lord. His party is the most popular, the most famous that everybody knows around the whole area pretty much. But the hero of the South had the title of being the strongest of humanity. Frieren talks about the 7 stages of destruction, and her party defeated 2 of them. A couple of them fled, but the hero of the South alone defeated 3 of them. That alone should be enough to determine that this guy was extremely powerful. It took Frieren's party, a party of 4, some of the greatest heroes of all time, to defeat 2 of them, and this guy does it alone with 3. So to say he's worthy of the title is an understatement. This guy really deserves all the praise that he gets. Unfortunately, it's come to our attention that he doesn't get all the attention. He's not as popular as Himmel because Himmel's the guy that defeated the Demon Lord. You know, that's the big kahuna of the whole thing. But this guy definitely deserves more attention, and all the praise that he does get, he is 100% deserving of. I just want to point out this shot here is spectacular. It is very haunting. It is so well done. It is so cool. And I like how they showed kind of aura right up front. That's the one we know the most. That's the one that we saw in Season 1 get decapitated by Frieren with her amazing aura. That scene was spectacular. That was so cool. But I love how they did this shot. It is really, really spooky. And while they're talking about the hero of the South, behind them is a puppet show going on. And I absolutely love what they did here. Instead of doing like a flashback like a normal anime, or even Frieren for that matter, they told his story via a puppet show with all the kids watching. And I thought that was so interesting that they did that. It was such a different and creative way to tell the story of the hero of the South. And the puppet show is going over his battles and his travels, and he comes across Schlatt the Omniscient, the one demon who defeated the hero of the South. But they killed each other. So this guy could see 1,000 years into the future. He was basically all-knowing, and the hero of the South managed to defeat him. Unfortunately, he also fell victim to the Omniscient. And as the story's being told, it comes to an end, and all the kids are cheering. It just goes to show how much love this region has for the hero of the South. What the impact that he had on them. He liberated countless villages. The one they're in now is one of them. So they really respect the hero of the South. This guy was a force to be reckoned with. He was powerful, and his legacy lives very strongly in this region. So after the puppet show, we go to another flashback, just like normal Frieren does, where Frieren's sitting in this forest picking flowers or whatever she may be doing, and the hero of the South walks up to her. He approaches her, and he asks her to join his party. Frieren declines the offer. She really doesn't want anything to do with it. She's just kind of minding her own thing. And at this point, she's not with Himmel either. She's just kind of on her own. And he walks up to her, he asks her this, she says no, and he expects that. He knew she would say no. How did he know this? And he explains to Frieren why he knew she would already say no. This guy, the hero of the South, can see into the future. He says 1 year from now, he's going to be defeated by Schlatt the Omniscient. So he gets defeated by Schlatt the Omniscient a year from talking to Frieren. And he tells Frieren that she's going to be approached by someone, who that someone is Himmel, and she's going to join his party, and together they will defeat the Demon Lord. Unfortunately, he knows that his goal is never going to be met. He realizes that no matter how hard he tries, no matter what he does, even if Frieren helps him, the most powerful mage of all time, and he knows that because he can see into the future, he will never accomplish that goal. So what he does is he tells Frieren to tell something to Himmel, and we see it in this scene here. They're just sitting under a cave by the fire. Frieren walks up to him, and everything seems fine. And Frieren murmurs something to him. We don't know exactly what she said because there's no dialogue, but past this scene, he says, "I promise I will clear a path for you," meaning that he will do his best to his ability to make sure that Himmel and his party can defeat the Demon Lord and accomplish the goal that he could never get done. The look on Himmel's face when he hears this is very, very deep and not troubled, but you can tell he really takes it to heart by what the hero of the South told him. His eyes start to glimmer. He gets this sad look on his face, realizing that the hero of the South paid this ultimate sacrifice just so he could get the glory that the hero of the South would never get. That's got to be one of the most selfless and largest acts of humility that you could ever do. I mean, defeating the Demon Lord would put you into the most famous people of all time. And The fact that he gave that up so someone else could accomplish it is just goes to show what type of character this guy had. Not only was he the strongest physically, but like he was the strongest like in his heart. And through all that, even though he didn't accomplish his goals and he realized that people might not remember who he is, Frieren makes sure that the rest of the humanity will remember what his sacrifice was for. But after that, they venture into this big city finally. And Stark mentioned like, oh, it's been a while since we've been in a big city. And Fern and Stark notice that Frieren's acting a little weird. She's going around buying stuff. She's a little quiet, just spending a lot of the money that they have very little of on things that they really don't need. She's just acting a little weird, and they take note of that. I just like this part of Frieren's personality where, like, I guess you could call it selfish, but she's like, hey, we don't have money for that type of stuff. Like, we don't have stuff nice to eat. We can't get you nice stuff. But she goes on this spending spree in the city. It's not that she's, like, selfish or mean. She's just Frieren, you know what I mean? She's just Frieren. And when they're trying to leave, Frieren's trying to get everybody out of there. She doesn't want to stay in the big city for some reason. We don't know yet. She's approached by this butler-looking guy, this noble-looking man. I love the look on Frieren's face in this scene. So, look at Stark, too. So, they get coaxed into going to dinner. And Frieren obviously has a history here. Stark and Fern have no idea what's going on or why she was acting so weird with this guy. So, it turns out that this man, Graf Doc, has a history with Frieren. There's her funny face again. I absolutely love the Frieren faces, dude. Those are my favorite thing in this show. So the history they have together is when Frieren was with her old party with Himmel, this man's great-grandfather approached them because their heirloom sword was stolen by a demon. So guess what happened again? The sword was stolen. And Frieren knew this village. She knew the people that were there, and she didn't really want anything to do with this, but thus she was too late. So they get him to dinner, and he asks kindly, hey, can you retrieve the sword again? We just get a quick little flashback of when they were first asked to retrieve the sword. So they accept the offer, and they have to find out where this demon is. Luckily, they know the direction the demon went, so that's where they're going to head. So that hopefully it's a little easier than last time. So they get ready to go. They're on their adventure, ready to find the demon, and of course, Frieren's sleepy. And I love this shot of the horse. I absolutely love the shot of the horse. Frieren, for being such a serious show, has a lot of silly little things in it, and that's what spices it up a bit. That's what I absolutely adore about this show, is they throw in the silly while ultimately being a very serious show. So this is where the episode takes a turn. This is where the silliness ends and the real seriousness stuff comes right in front of us. Come across this cart. Obviously, there's apples. Some are sliced in half, and we see blood. Clearly, that's not apple juice. That is blood. So we know we're getting close to where this demon is. And they stumble upon the ruins of this village, just absolutely decimated. Like nothing left of this village, just a couple buildings. Nobody's in it. It's quiet. And then they stumble across a singular person. This person's wearing a hood, obviously, and we, as the viewer, probably already know what type of person this is. We can pretty much tell. Ruined village, blood on the apple cart, only one person left. Why would there be one person left in this village that got decimated? Why would a demon leave one person behind? We pretty much already know who this is. This is the demon they're looking for. But it's interesting that Stark and Fern still don't know. They don't realize that this is the demon. But of course, Frieren being Frieren, she already knows. She knew probably before they found the apple thing that the demon was near. So this self-proclaimed traveling priest says that they're the only one left. They're mourning the loss of all the people that were killed here. There's people buried. And she asked the three of them to pray. A really interesting thing that I never thought about until Frieren mentions it later in the episode is that when you pray, typically you close your eyes. Fern and Stark were prepared to close their eyes. Frieren, on the other hand, like we said, knew this was a demon. She already sensed something was wrong how long ago, but this demon knew that you close your eyes to pray, so that was when the moment to attack. And here they are closing their eyes. They're so unsuspecting. It's really interesting that they never noticed this, but you have to take into account Frieren has literally thousands of years of experience, especially with her hatred of demons, that she knows pretty much all their tricks in the book. These two, I don't know, they're probably under 20 years old at this point. They have literally no life experience compared to Frieren. Upon seeing everybody closing their eyes and being asked to pray, she knows it's time to strike, because if she doesn't, the demon will. So she fires a spell from her staff, and that's when everything kind of unleashes in itself. Fern and Stark here look extremely surprised. Like, they're like, what are you doing, Frieren? Why would you do that? Like, this person was just asking us to mourn with them. I think this is when they begin to realize that something is amiss. And here we see the demon pull out that sword that was stolen, and she unveils herself to see the horns that the demon always has. And of course, we get another intense Frieren battle experience. I mean, every single battle in this show is just a goddamn work of art. Every single one. Every move. Like, let me go back and show you this. Like, watch how fluid they move. And it's all animated amazingly. Like, there's no missing with these animators. They absolutely kill it every time. And just, I don't know if you can see this, but the outline of this beam here is so, it just looks so nice. You know what I mean? It just looks so good. And I like this scene here too. This kind of refers back to episode 1 where Stark was having problems with his confidence. And we see that he really did overcome whatever he was fighting. Whatever demons he was fighting back then, he's gotten over because he saves Friren's ass right here. He really does save her. And he's confident about it. You know, he went in and he did the thing he had to do. And he's like, he mentions this is what frontliners are for. So he has established himself for sure as that party's frontliner. I also like how Frieren always praises them. She always tells them they did a good job. Just like Himmel would always tell her she did a good job. She learned also from that to always praise your people for doing good. So ultimately, they defeat the demon. It really didn't stand a chance, 3 against 1. I mean, 2 extremely powerful mages and probably one of the best frontliners to exist right now. Demon didn't stand a chance. And this is where Frieren lets them know that why she got violent all of a sudden. Because they closed their eyes to pray. Typically, people close their eyes to pray. She knew once that was asked, this demon is going to try and bust a move here. I need to stop it. So as they're traveling away in this cart, they got the reward from the noble, Graf Doc, and they kind of come across this conversation that, hey, if this sword's been stolen so many times, if it's such a hot commodity to demons, why don't they just give it away? Other than the fact that it's a precious heirloom, Frieren brings up the point that this sword means a lot to demons. It helps them unleash this sort of power, and Frieren understands that. And she mentions the last time that this sword was stolen, a demon went on a rampage, and here we are again. The demon did the same thing. The demons cannot help but show the power in such an aggressive way. And if a demon is left with that sword, it's just going to wreak havoc. So they can't just let a demon have it. Even if this continues to happen, they can't let the demon have it and just give up that heirloom. It's very important that it stays out of their hands. And pretty much at the end of the episode here, they're talking about rewards and stuff. Frieren, of course, would do it again for the right price, but I feel like she would do it regardless for what she's offered, because that's just the type of person she is. This time, Frieren, as a reward, she gets a grimory, and this particular one turns red apples into green apples. What some would consider a useless spell, another person would see as a great thing to have. Being an apple connoisseur myself, I think that is a horrible spell. The only thing a green apple is good for is baking, not to eat. I would much rather have a Honeycrisp or a Fuji or something like that. Nonetheless, I'm not Frieren. She can choose whatever apple she wants. And that was the end of the episode. I really, really enjoyed this episode. I really liked the part about the hero of the South. I loved that whole sequence. I loved how they showed the puppet show instead of doing a flashback. How even though he's not the most well-known hero ever, the people in the South and the region that he liberated adored him. And I love that because his work was not in vain. He did something that those people will always remember. Even if he didn't defeat the demon lord like Himmel, he created the path for Himmel to do that. And Himmel really respected that. And Frieren to this day really respects it, just by how she was talking about the statue and talking so highly of him. So that's the end of the episode. I'm very excited for episode 3. I have no idea what it's going to bring, but every episode of this show is just the cherry on top. You know, it just gets better and better. So I'm very excited. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a comment down below. What was your favorite part? Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.